an update quick on my surgery. The incision's healing well. I got some pain yet. It's been about a week, but so far so good. We have a snow day from school here from the John Deere program, so I'm gonna make a video about the sword rack. I'm gonna cover the one I built, why I built it that way, and then we're gonna get into what is actually on the higher end, what's possible with the more ornate designs that you can get from the comic and the cartoon art. So I'll flip this around and I'm going to try to show you my computer. I'm not really well versed in getting, talking on screen with that. I'm a blacksmith first, YouTuber second kind of thing. So we'll get into this here. I'll switch it over. Okay. So we're going to get in on this sword stand. Now, the first one the one I made, the one I've actually built, you can see it down here in the picture. Here, I'll zoom in a bit. You can see it down here in the picture. Now it is designed to around this dagger, the short version. And I've got my pattern here. It fits in your hand like so. So that stick laying across here, I'll zoom up. I got a zoom up version too, but that is a 1 foot ruler laying there. And of course I don't know of any non 1 foot rulers, but so it's designed to hold the little one, and then the shelf is for the claw shield. And I got the idea from this toy version here. Right here. There's a wonderful way to display the entire collection right there. Some graphics kind of made into here. And if you look at the artwork in general, it's very ornate, just in general. So the sword stand kind of follows those lines. Now I'll zoom in on my version here. Zoom. Where's my zoom? There's my zoom. My version, is a little Spartan compared to that. And here's the reasons why. So the dagger version that I make, 10 years ago I sold for $1,200 a piece, just because of all the work that goes into it. And I kind of wanted to keep this around $300 to $400. And I also wanted it collapsible and lightweight, so it would, I could put it in a box and ship it. So I made patterns on all of these pieces. The shelf is steel because I had the right size pipe laying there, so I just cut it out. But then it bolts into these brackets and these gussets down here. They're kind of shaped like the state of Minnesota, but they're aluminum. And then there's an aluminum tube that bolts to those. And this top fork here, here's the close-up of it. This stub fits inside that tubing. And, I can weld an aluminum one up. I can do some casting with it. But the reason this one is the way it is so that it's collapsible and easy to ship. And I can keep the cost down. But the person in question that wants one of these wants it to be the center display for their armory. So I want to lean... And I gotta get feedback from you on this, the person in question, or anyone else here who wants, because we can vary these a little bit depending on who wants what. We want to add some of this detail in there so that it really makes that pop. Now we can take some of these concept elements into design, and I've got patterns. I've got all these nice little scalloped ends and stuff. But we can step it up a few notches. So here's from the actual cartoon. Here's one of the stand from there. I'll kind of zoom out here a little bit with my phone. And look at all of this almost floral leaf work. Like broadleaf, kind of like corn. And then here we have these little nubbins that could hold the big sword or the little sword, almost antler-like. Then we have these plumes coming off down here. And almost, get my mouse out here. An organic rib looking feature here. I mean, all of that can be transferred and combined with this design to give us that shelf for the claw shield. Because if I'm building one of these, I want to have all those elements just in case somebody wants to expand their collection. Whether they buy it from me or somebody else. If this stand needs to do all those features. So here's the actual concept art from the cartoon. And we zoom in here. And this is golden because we've actually got the total entire base here. And right here we can see that shelf element for the claw shield below these plumes. So I think this is the version that would most make the centerpiece of an armory absolutely pop out and stand out. So I'm going to have to do some number crunching on this. But to make a stand like that, it's going to be a couple $1,000s, whichever way we go, because of all this one here. I mean, I can do some interesting things with the main base, casting it out of some aluminum. It's going to be a pretty big casting though. But this looks like it should probably all be cast. And then these antlers, we can do some leaf work and stuff, but I mean, we can cast all the parts too, but some of this almost looks like it should be done as wrought iron. And there's some interesting things we can get into with that too. We can maybe do an aluminum casting all the way up from here with bronze or copper, you know, for the leaf work, and then steel for the actual sword stand. Or we can all do, you know, we can do a mono metal and do everything in one type. Give it some different stuff to look at. But for sure, there's tons of options here. But we got everything covered from about a $300 model up to a several $1,000 model, depending on how much detail is wanted. So I'm going to need some feedback from whoever's interested in this, particularly the person who contacted me first, to see what kind of level of detail they want in this stand. I'm willing to go all the way to this version, and I'm willing to keep it simple for this version. Either way, it's kind of up to who wants this and how big your armory is. I mean, this version here obviously will sit. This one will sit on an end table, no problem, you know. Whereas this one here, he's the full floor mount, all the way, you know, probably 4 feet tall, 3.5 feet tall easily. But yeah, and we can adjust these so that the short version and the long version will go, but it's easy enough to store the short version in the claw shield if you want to go that route. And at first, if all you want is the stand and the extended version, this detail matches the detail on that bigger version of the sword, because the guard on the bigger version, got one of my patterns here, is way different than the shorter one. And then the grip, I don't have the hilt out here, but the hilt is much more ornate as well. So that's kind of what's going on with that, as an overview of what's possible. So let me know in the comments, or you can send me a message on Facebook, or email me. However, particularly for the first person that was interested, however you first got a hold of me, and we'll get rolling on this. And the more I understand what level of detail you want, the more I can kind of pin down a price for you and tell you the time restraint.